This is the drama show on Phonic FM, but I'm going to a bit of sort of reality. Most of the drama is obviously fiction or imagined, but it's based on something. Documental theatre is a really good model, and the musicals. I'm going to try put some of my ideas into songs, or find songs that relate. But starting with newspapers, yesterday's Guardian, I've posted a link to this. They're doing a whole series about how COVID changed the way Britain thinks, and they give the example of absenteeism from schools, which is partly because the school children who are supposed to be going to school notice that adults are working from home and can't see why they couldn't do the same. There's a paragraph here. The relationship between children and schools changed irrevocably. A 5-year-old with 3 devices in front of her to access online lessons, laptop talking, then load things into a tablet, and she had a phone as well. And this is all seen really negatively. There's all kinds of mental health issues and discipline problems and all sorts of disadvantages of the schools losing the position they had previously. But there's almost nothing here about the benefits of it, as if schools have changed their technology or procedures to take advantage of these things. And I think it's interesting as storytelling, especially when it gets to the universities, the campus equivalent of this, which is more or less stopped. You still get stories about working from home. There's negative stories because the newspapers. This is my take on it. That the newspapers really don't want that trend to continue because they think they sell casual print copies in big cities. So if nobody's going into the big city, that whole situation's lost. But nonetheless, there are stories about the fact that people are working at home, and that is actually continuing, although there's negative pressure on it. And also about retail, the move online for shopping, the problems with department stores, all of that is continuing. I'm pretty sure. So those two stories still exist, but you rarely find stories about the campus or changes in university policy. I don't find them in the same sort of way. I am going to go to this conference in Lancaster about the digital university, which is the same one as was in Exeter last year, and I'm interested in the online aspect as well. THE, Times Higher Education, are also doing online learning rankings, which was launched last year. There's going to be another one, and I'll be interested whether either Exeter or Lancaster are going to get involved in that. So far, it's not very many UK universities involved. It's mostly countries with more developing higher education systems seem to be more interested in online. But going back to the fiction, I'm going to be in Kendal next week, and the great thing about Kendal is the castle, which is a ruin, and lends itself to being a set, following on from the idea of a fortress university, which was discussed when Peter Horrocks was launching FutureLearn, the MOOC platform. But I'm not going to rave on about that too much, because it's it's a very alarmist way of approaching things to use the fortress as a model of the campus, and then imagine the ruins at some future point. So I'm going to, especially as there are some real problems with higher education at the moment. The news about Edinburgh having to cut back is really surprising, and I think there must be more than that going on. But as I say, I don't see news articles in reality about whether any of this is thought to connect to changes in technology, or whether the solutions that develop what they're working on relate to technology. There is also, so I forgot to mention, hashtags. I think it's called hashtag Higher Ed. There's another conference just before the one I'm going to. I'm pretty sure it's hashtag Higher Ed. I'll look it up later on. Which is intended to promote internationally students coming to the UK, but presumably you could have the same. You could have hashtags promoting Indian courses in digital marketing, which I'm sure there are some. There was a digital marketing university came to the Light Minds in Exeter a few years ago. So the hashtags can work in any direction, but it's assumed that presumably 18-year-olds are 14-year-olds or 15-year-olds when they start to be aware of the hashtags and think about which university to go to. And that's another aspect of it. Anyway, when I thought about Edinburgh, I remembered that they do all sorts of forms of discovery of ideas, and I've found tarot cards, but also short stories. The Centre for Research in Digital Education. So it's various scenarios of what might happen. And it's another way of thinking of these ideas. So I'll see how long these take to read. This one is about an AI academy. 10% of the topic space. Camera 2455 GAR, students 405666 and 255512 entered the library. Trajectory suggests route to LitServ desk. Records bot 6463, updating and cross-linking with lecture period 355. Attendance confirmed. Attendance rate for 25512 borderline at 87%. Warning message sent. Approval for library access with limitation 57 and 258 recorded. LitServ desk AR1. Facial scanning reads heightened emotion from 405666. Reviewing email inbox and outbox from past 48 hours. ListServ AI7 communicated with 405666 at 21:42 yesterday. Camera and microphone enabled. Potential conflict protocol activated. How can I help you, Alex? Alex, hi, yes, I'm here about the email I got last night. It said my lit review for Intro to Cultural Studies has been put on hold pending review. What's going on? I need it today. I'm going to meet my tutor later to design the project. I hear you, Alex. That sounds frustrating. Let me check my records. I'll just be a second. Can I offer you a glass of water? Alex, no thanks. I just need to know what's happening. Okay, what's going on here is that you've asked for a lit review that deviates 40% from the topics agreed in your pre-course checkup. As you know, those topics were determined from your previous study and your most recent comprehension and aptitude scans. If you refer to your contract on the screen here, you'll see that you agreed to stay within 10% of the topic space. Alex, okay, yeah, what happened was I went to this talk last week and it was about consumer culture. Sorry, Alex, can I interrupt? This was on 2nd October when you left campus for 3 hours and 22 minutes for what you described as a cultural event. Alex, yeah, noted. In order to proceed with this discussion, I'll need to access to your full geolocation data for that period of time. Do you consent? Alex, yeah, okay, thank you. You were saying? Alex, yes, so I got talking to this other person who was there and they told me about the theory of cultural ideology and commodification. So I thought I'd ask for a lit review to cover that as well as the fashion topic space, so I could maybe see how they go together. Thank you. A tutorbot will review your rationale. Please give me a moment. Okay, Alex, I'm happy to report that your tutorbot has approved this topic deviation. However, you need to log in for a tutorial with them tomorrow to discuss parameters. Do you consent? Alex, yes, okay, thanks. Your requested lit review has been created and a meeting entered into your calendar. Is there anything else I can help you with today? Alex, no, but Beth wanted to ask you something too. Lit Serve Desk AI student 25512. Library restrictions check 25512 does not have permissions for a real-time decision exchange with LitSurf AI. Potential conflict protocol activated. Hello, Beth. How can I help you? That's the story. Well, I don't know. I must say I find YouTube much easier to flip from one topic to another than this suggests. Maybe AI is getting better. Not sure. Anyway, I'm going to play a track and then read another story.